Hello. So I would like to give an update on our energy and what is going on in the collective. So first off, I'm going to start off in a 3D perspective on what is happening here. Keep in mind, I don't watch the news, so my understanding of this comes from just Epoch News. That's my only news source, which I do think they are more accurate. Not to say that they are completely accurate and they don't have a bias as well. So what I understand that is happening is in Canada, there are some protests going on with truckers who are coming from the United States into Canada, where they have mandates where they need to show some verification that they have had the shot, that they have had the V, and they are getting upset, and there are protests going on saying we deserve freedom, we are unhappy with this. And then also in the UK, they have erased all their mandates, and they're just living with the illness and going about their day and taking precautions as it will, but their stay at home is no longer, and so they are basically just living life with this, and so there's no mandates anymore. And then in the United States too, they're speaking of this illness surge, in which there's more people getting this, they say. And so there are states that are now having more, like when you go into a store, you would have to wear face coverings, and as well as there are some events I do know that do make you show papers and things like that. So it was starting to, as some people would say, die down, and now it's kind of more of the, hey, United States, we need to take precautions again, and we need to do something about this. But there are also some things have happened legally with the Supreme Court, saying, no, President, you cannot do these things. You cannot make it so that businesses less than 100 employees have to, get the V. No, so the Supreme Court has put in place some blocks. Okay, so that's what I know that is going on in the 3D level. I will also just add that I just remembered another thing, that Canada was going to tax people who haven't gotten the shot, the V, and they did drop that plan. I just found out. So that's what is going on here. And if you haven't been keeping up, there you go. I'll give you the news. But let's look at it from a higher perspective. What is going on here? And so I did tune into Archangel Michael to see what he had to say about what is happening here on an energetic level and 4D, 5D level and above. Okay. So first off, he said, we are resonating higher. As a collective, we're resonating higher, and our behavior is shifting accordingly to match that. So we are no longer held back, as in we're not allowing ourselves to be held back, and we are speaking up. Okay, so that's just it in a nutshell, summing it up. But to go deeper here, there has been some talk, is this a dark agenda? Is it the elites orchestrating this? And what I got was sort of a mixture of both. So the intent from the elites is to start a war, is what I got. They want to start a war, and they thought that this whole Canada situation would bring about basically a war. And I think it's more than just Canada, but the events here, they're thinking the plan is to start a war. And they wanted to have some people kind of protest, but then they would be put in their place, and they would say, the government wins, the government has the power, you were just little, kind of putting them in their place then, and to show that they have the authority. But the thing is that this isn't working out, and everything that they try does backfire, which is great, right? I did ask, are these people hired? Are they actors? Because I do know that there has been some in the past with some of the other previous events. There were some actors, and that were hired by the cabal. And I would say, no, these are not actors. These are actual people. But the government, the elites, want these people to speak out and to act out. And they want these people to believe that they're not capable of creating change, because if they put them in their place, then they will be then controllable, okay? And kind of had this whole like story then to the collective of, if you speak out, if you protest, this doesn't work. But the people aren't backing down. And what's coming about is they're speaking out louder. Louder is the word that I got. And the people are having more authority than the government, and in a way louder and heard more. So it's not that they're actually like yelling louder, okay, that's not the idea, but the louder is that they're being heard. And the cabal, the elites, their power and their story, their words, right, are not being heard. Their actions are kind of in the background, and more people are paying attention to the people who are speaking out, who want change. So this is not working out, because basically the elites, they're not being looked at as much. They're like in the background, and people are paying attention more to what is happening with the people who are speaking out and talking about freedom. So there's more attention on freedom rather than the control. So this whole plan of putting people in their place and being like, no, we have the power, is not working, okay? And take this for what you will. This is just what I received. If this does not resonate with you, of course, it's just a message not for you. Okay. And I did ask, is this something that was like a plan even from, life forces like ETs or something like that? No. It is planned by the people taking back their power. So it is from that place of sovereignty and organic ness, which is good. So the people are resonating higher with energy, but also information. So that's an important piece of it. So information, so they're understanding things on another level, and they're rising because of the frequency that it holds of that truth. Now, it went further into how the people are believing in freedom, and they're believing in their capability. And that's the most important part of this, is that people are believing more that they're capable and that they can do this and create change. However, the dark forces are actually losing their power, and in a sense that they are resisting. And this came up several times. There's something very powerful about the rise of the people with their belief, and then the fall of the cabal, in that they are resisting what's going on. Okay, so when you resist something, what happens? More of it. And so they're falling into fear, they're falling into self-doubt, and so they're creating their own manifestations from this. And so when we believe we are capable, we are heard and listened to, and we stand out. So the people and their light is shining brighter than the darkness, in which the darkness used to have this sort of presence and being known, right? But now the people are being looked at. And so the dark are beginning to doubt themselves. They're wondering if they're capable. They're kind of freaking out. They're resisting what's going on. Okay. So their power is waning. And if you resist something, it has to backfire. It has to backfire on them. And so the light is gaining more power, more authority and capability, and they're gaining knowledge and truth because they're being looked at. So then it's spreading. It's kind of like a light that's spreading, in which people then are looking at that light, questioning and gaining more knowledge. Okay, and then it was said, if the cabal wasn't resisting this, we would basically, we might fall, we would fall. That's what I received, we would fall. So if the cabal would maintain power, I guess, is what I'm gathering, if they didn't resist and if they still believed in themselves. But then I did ask about what would happen if we both believed. And what I got was there would be a balance. There would be an equal, neutral kind of balance between the light and the dark, which I guess there would be equal power and equal presence. Now I did create a diagram here that I'm going to show you, so I can illustrate this for you about what's going on. Before I continue, I do want to just remind you to like, subscribe, and share this, because this is important information and I do want it to be known. Thank you. Okay. So this was what it was looking like in kind of 2020, like before 2021. Okay. So in which the dark had more authority and more presence over the light. Now that doesn't mean that there were more dark people, okay? That's not what this means, but it means that their energy like had more kind of power and authority, okay? So it just means that they had more control, okay? And so their overlap was a little bit more than the light, okay? And then we had the middle ground, the gray, okay? And then in 2021, we had this shift in which there was this balance, okay? And that's what I was talking about with what happens when the light and the dark are both believing in themselves and both believing in change. There would be this kind of balance, but also sort of like this split, if you will, okay, in which the light would have their own experience and the dark would have their own experience, because they wouldn't be able to really touch in interacting, okay? So the dark would have their own control, but wouldn't be able to touch the light and control the light. I hope that makes sense. So that's what was going on here in 2021. We had this shift, and some people were being like, "Oh, the event is going to happen," and it did in a way. Okay, it's the beginning of the new earth. Okay, it's the beginning of the shift that's going to bring about the new earth, that is bringing about the fifth dimensional density consciousness. Okay, and the big awakening. All right. So then we have what's going on now. So it's explained to me that the dark is just basically losing that kind of energy. They're losing their power in being able to control, basically, and having the authority. That's really the word that just kept coming up, like having the authority. So the overlap, the light is overlapping the dark. So the light is shining brighter. And it doesn't mean that there are more light people of the light, although that's probably true. However, it just means that their energy is brighter, it's bigger. And the I do know that the planet actually is holding more light, and more light than ever before, and that is, it just keeps rising. Okay, so this is a rise, and so the dark is just falling. Is the word that I kept getting to, is that they're falling, the light is rising. Okay, so the dark is resisting and they're falling into fear, and the light is believing in themselves and knowing who and what they are, and knowing their capability, regaining their sovereignty, regaining their truth, and to know that the people are capable of more than they have before, and they're not going to be controllable. They're going to speak out rather than just go along with whatever they're told, basically. So yet again, this is what's going on. Sorry about the glare of my light. Okay, so continuing here, the light and the people are no longer seeing the darkness as a threat. So they are understanding we are winning. We can win. We have the power. So they are seeing this within themselves. And if you see yourself as the power, as the one that has the authority, you will. So they are winning. Okay, so the balance is tipping, the light is knowing more, and I was receiving this. What I was getting was that, okay, the news is still biased. The news isn't telling us the truth. However, truth is kind of filtering in because they can't really hide it. And so the people and what's going on in the stories behind it are being known. So even though they're not maybe, conveying those stories in like a neutral, truthful way, they're still kind of trying to bend it or twist it, with maybe the words that they're using and the way that they're presenting it. They can't really hide the people and the stories of completely. Okay, so it's becoming what I got was a little bit of both, of truth and non-truth. So, but more truth is being presented now. So the world is healing. Okay, the world is healing a little bit more. That's really what's going on here in February and with these events. And so I did ask about, the UK and the mandate sending, and I did receive that it is an elite plan. Okay, They want to give the power to the people, give them their freedom, and then take it away again. Which is kind of the story I keep hearing about the UK. Well, yeah, lockdowns are ending, but then we'll have another one. Like, it keeps going back and forth. So basically, what I received was that their plan is to give and take it away and kind of twist it up and say that this doesn't work. They want to give the power, the hope to the people, and then take the hope away. And then say, hey, look, we have this control over you to give and take. We will just keep doing this. Yeah, I guess the plan is to say, it doesn't work to not have mandates. We're going to have the mandates then. Okay. So, but I asked about what's the outlook of this? What does this look like? What is the most probable outcome here? And the most probable outlook is that it won't work. It looks like the people will stand up and say no. If they take away that power again, people are not going to stand for it. People will stand up and say no. We don't agree with the mandates. We don't agree with this. So it looks good with America. Okay. And there's like a surge in the disease. They're saying there's people are wearing more masks. It depends where you're at though. What I got is that there's really a mixture going on. So some of the people are like brainwashed and just believing whatever they're told, believing the news. But I did receive that there is more light in the United States. There's just a quieter energy about it. So people are standing up, but in a quieter way. So they're not out there rioting or protesting or making this big explosion of noise out there. Although there are some uprisings, there are some protests still going on. I do know there was something about the White House on the lawn. I think, some people are out there with signs and things like that. So some things are going on, but it's quieter than what's going on around the world. And so we do have like this mixture going on, and it's kind of this quieter, making it known for change and speaking up. So, and this is the last part of it, in which Archangel Michael was talking about how it is best to be quiet, but speak louder. Okay, so that seems like a contradiction, right? Be quiet, but speak louder. So he then clarified, when you speak, hold a higher vibration. Speak more often. Tell the truth. Don't hold back. But don't assert. Now, I looked this up because assert does mean assertive, right? Does mean confidence. But it also, when I looked it up, it said forcefully. Confidence, but forcefully. So don't force. Okay, that's what it is. And he said, don't resist. Okay, so this is the main message about this. Don't resist. Okay, resistance is what the dark are doing, and that's why it's backfiring. That's why they're falling. The light is believing in themselves and knowing their truth and speaking from that. So this is the main message here. This is not a war, but speak your truth. Okay, this is not a war to fight. It's not a forceful thing to try to end the suppression. It's not something to fight against. Believe. Believe in your power to receive. Trust. Speak out not to make anything happen. Speak out because you know. Speak because it is your truth and declaration. Let it be an energy of expression of who and what you are. And I'm going to add, and what you stand for. That is the message. That's the update. And I just have this feeling, this feeling of love right now. And I hope that I have spoken my truth today, and have a very beautiful day speaking up and knowing your truth.